Hello and welcome to another episode of the Full Force Weekly, brought to you by GeneralsJoesReborn.com, with me as your host, Christopher McLeod AKA Diagnostik80. For today's episode, I'm all on my own. In this regular video series, I round up all the week's news in the world of G.I. Joe. What is it, me?
It's the Full Force Weekly, yes, a little bit earlier than usual, right? And also, I'm on my own. What a shame, eh? I know, no Pat today. So you'll just have me, talking through this kind of stuff. Now, for those that weren't aware that there was a change, I did put it on the last two news bursts. So if you haven't watched those news bursts this week, well, you can look forward to seeing the cut down versions today, can't you, on the weekly? But yeah, I had to make a change because obviously I have to leave a little earlier today to go and pick Kate up from the airport. Me and Phoebes are going to go do that later. So that's effectively why we've had to go a little bit early. And on top of that, Pat couldn't be here at all this weekend. So I decided, you know what, let's just do it early. That way I can, get it out of the way and chat with everyone in the chat. Few people watching already. That's great. Thank you very much, guys. Hello, David Allen. Hello, Matthew Matson. Hello, Luke Poulon. Hello, RKW1138. And hello, Future Fortress Maximus. Future Force. I like that. Oh, yes, Matt, we're going to be talking about Renegade Game Studios shortly. But I suppose we might as well just get stuck straight into it, eh? Yes, we've got quite a few bits of news to discuss this week. That's... it's kind of funny, isn't it? Sometimes we have those weeks, like last week was a kind of thing like that, where there wasn't a lot going on, but we managed to pull some news out of it. And the week before that was pretty, there's a lot in there, a lot involved. But we get the odd light week. This week has not been light in the slightest. Loads of stuff to talk about. And we're going to start with a little bit of comics news.
Power Comics dropped a teaser for a potential G.I. Joe announcement last week, and many believed it was about the next publisher. However, the full reveal happened on Wednesday and was actually about the news that they will be releasing a comic book off the back of the Super Joe Unlimited action figure relaunch. The first issue will homage that classic issue 4 of Marvel G.I. Joe: A Real American Hero, with Bob Hall coming back to do it as well. The new publisher still looks to be Skybound, and I would imagine an official announcement is very close indeed, and will probably be revealed on the March 8th live stream that was promoted yesterday for the first time since they postponed the Valentine's Day stream. It's all bloody happening, isn't it?
Yes, it is, me. Yes, so Power Comics dropped a teaser last week, which Pat and I discussed to a degree, quite some length at the end of the day. Sorry, I'm just going to change my camera a bit. There we go. And in that particular chat that we had, we basically came to the conclusion that Power Comics probably weren't going to be the publisher. And also it's going to be something to do with the cover. Lo and behold, it's a full comic, and it's connected to G.I. Joe in that it's Super Joe. The Super Joe Unlimited kind of relaunch was quite a successful kind of Kickstarter campaign not too long ago, and they're kind of jumping off the back of that Power Comics, and they're doing the comic for it. And I think they're going to be debuting this at Toylanta this year. And as you can see, the cover bears a striking resemblance, homage-wise, to Bob Hall's issue 4. We'll have a look at here's the cover in its entirety. As you can see, like most people would have been able to kind of catch the homage before they'd even seen the side-by-side right there. And as you can see, and Bob Hall's come back to do that cover as well, which is even cooler. So shout out to Bob. And that was the news for Power Comics. Now, there's kind of I didn't really realize this, but there's kind of a bit of a not what's the word, like controversy surrounding the Super Joe. Is it part of G.I. Joe or not? And I kind of think, well, yeah, it kind of is. But at the same time, it's not one of those eras that I'm super knowledgeable about. It's not an era that I'm kind of like totally like connected to in any way, shape, or form. But I am kind of like interested to look into it a little bit more and go into kind of more detail with it. So you might even get some content on Super Joe very soon. We might be talking to Pat and Justin about Super Joe on a monthly or something in the future. So anyway, that is that. Was there any did I have anything else to show you on that one? I've completely forgotten. Anyway, what do you guys think? Power Comics. I must admit, I was kind of very skeptical that they were going to be anything to do with the actual publisher. I think Skybound's been one of those things that's been like it's almost been like the worst kept secret in the industry, and you're just expecting it to happen at some point soon. So I'm thinking, like, obviously, there's Bob as well. So there were more images to show you. There's Bob holding up I think that's a print as well. They're doing prints and posters of the cover too, and on too far, yeah. So. That is effectively, I think they're going to be like promoting the Skybound news on the stream on March the 8th. And we haven't really, did I actually put anything about that in here? I don't think I did. But obviously it was on the video. And yes, we're going to be getting that March the 8th live stream now. That is confirmed. So brilliant. I'm expecting Skybound. I think most other people are expecting Skybound as the next publisher of the comics. And yeah, I think that's pretty much all we can say about that. What do you guys think about Super Joe? Is there anything that you know a lot about? Chaz says Super Joe is Joe on meth. Jason says Super Joe was before G.I. Joe, a Real American Hero. Yes, it was, Jason, of course. It was from the 70s, of course we know that, but like I said, it's not an era of the kind of, you know, the family of G.I. Joe that I'm super knowledgeable about, but I do know those aspects of it. But yeah, it's a nice little homage. It's a cute little idea to get Bob Hall in as well, who did that issue 4, and yeah, very cool. Okay, well, that is comics news. I will probably. I'm trying to get something set up with Mark Seddon at Talking Joe. It's one of those things where we go, yeah, let's do this, and then for whatever reason, I'm not available. Usually, is the problem. So we are going to set something up where we talk about, you know, like the future of the brand. It's probably going to be more likely when the official reveal happens now, and then we can talk about, you know, the new publisher. We can talk about any reveals that have happened, and we can probably talk about this as well as part of that. So we'll be getting in touch with Mark and hopefully Tim as well, if you can join with Talking Joe to kind of go through a little bit more of those aspects. Anyway, that's comics. Next up then, and this is one. Oh, I just noticed something interesting. We're going to go next then. Oh, no, it's all right. I've got control, so I can do whatever I want, can't I? It's a good job I noticed this. Otherwise, there we go. I've done so. It doesn't matter. No one really knows what I'm talking about, but I've messed up the order of videos. But it doesn't matter because I've got control and can do what the hell I want with it, can't I? Okay, then. Next up, then, and that is in Renegade Game Studios.
Scott and Sarah from Renegade Game Studios returned yesterday for yet another live stream event entitled Renegade Convirtual Just Wait Special Edition. The show covered a massive amount of extra reveals for all of their brands, including G.I. Joe, which got expansions and additions galore for all of their platforms. First up, they discussed 2 brand new expansion packs for Mission Critical: Midnight Storm, featuring Storm Shadow in his original classified design, complete with that awesome arm tattoo, an army of red ninjas, Slice, Dice, Jinx in her Collector's Club design, and Mutton Junkyard. The other expansion is Vanguard Strike, in which the Joes, consisting of Flint, Lady J and Barbecue, have to stop Firefly and Aleph, the Night Creeper leader, or Alf, as Sarah so hilariously put it. Following that, they discussed another expansion for the deck building game titled Raise the Flag, which is a 5-episode branching storyline. Not just that, but it also includes a fully constructible cardboard flag aircraft carrier. They had some preliminary images of a concept prototype, and wow, is it cool. It will even come with a couple of Sky Strikers, see the image circled for the correct scale of those, and the pre-order bonus gets you even more of them. It's not the same size as the original flag, but that it is large. They didn't go into detail for the dimensions, but a more finished model will be on display at Gen Con, so if you're going to that show, then enjoy taking that in. There was another reveal for the role-playing game, the Cobra Codex. This will allow you to play as Cobra characters and their many nefarious allies. They also showed off their new Villains Miniature Set 1, featuring 12 of the classic Cobra team. Quite the revealing show it would seem. All the reveals pre-order links are in the description if you fancy getting in on the action early. Renegade Game Studios are churning out content for fans of all types of games, and I just can't wait to actually have time and friends to play them.
Yeah, indeed. Time needed, friends needed. Interesting point here that Super Cyan Berserk has made. Operation Blackout Storm Shadow, Slice Dice, Night Creeper, Jinx confirmed for classified lol. One thing I will mention, I know you're only kind of tongue-in-cheek there, Super Cyan Berserk with Jinx, but I would guarantee that that Jinx, if they're going to do Jinx, is going to be very vintage inspired. And also, you know, with there's very much a disconnect with what you see with Renegade Game Studios and what Classified do, because what Renegade Game Studios have said in the past, and as they were designing things and as they were kind of doing all the artwork for it, you know, if you go back to, I think it was like their first virtual con, which you can find on their YouTube channel, and the kind of GI Joe part of it. They discussed in detail how they were kind of taking from all different eras for the design philosophy. So, you know, that's why we get like a Collectors Club design, and we get like a, you know, a new Sculpt era character, like Agent Faces was in there, like Spy Troops character, things like that. And then obviously, of course, your classic vintage inspired characters. Plus, they're also squeeze in the classified designs now as well. So you've got kind of a mixture of lots of different types and styles and all that kind of stuff. So in terms of Renegade Game Studios design aesthetic, I wouldn't say that you're seeing any kind of lead in to classified. Just you know, because that's just not how they would kind of do that. But I guess you're only tongue in cheek there, Super Cyan. Viper Scout says Walmart will probably do Ninja Force as their sub team, or Amazon, since they have already had a bunch of ninjas. Maybe. I think Ninja Force is definitely a sub team that I think we can see in the future. Definitely. Early Force, says Andrew Clark. Hi, Andrew. Early Force indeed. I apologize. Robert H says, I wish the Night Creeper leader had his own design, just not the Ninja Force one. There is a Night Creeper leader, isn't there? Like the one with the bald one with the skull cap, sorry, and the blindfold. And again, like, you know, they could have done that, but they're kind of leaning into this as being Aleph, who was the leader in the comics of the Night Creepers. So yeah, I'm kind of interested to really. One thing I love about Renegade Game Studios is the artwork, for one, but the reveals are so like visually appealing to me. Like, it's like, oh, and there's a next, you know, Mission Critical expansion, and it's always like, whoa, cool, and then characters, and it's all very exciting. It's almost like new figures being announced. But if we take the three, now this is the first one. This was Midnight Storm expansion for Mission Critical. Now this kind of gives you Storm Shadow, very much in that kind of Operation Blackout style design, isn't it? Except with the tattoo now. So this is like the website design, the early kind of concept classified Storm Shadow. And I'm got to tell you, I'm loving that sleeve of tattoos on his left arm. That's really dope. Then obviously you've got, yes, Ed also, yes, Deke had a Night Creeper leader as well, and he had a different head design from the rest. Yeah, effectively he was just like, you know, you could see some of his face, but he had the goggles, right? Yeah, so lots of Night Creeper stuff there. But anyway, coming back to this Midnight Storm expansion, yes, you've got the red ninjas that accompany Storm Shadow, and you've also got Slice and Dice there in the background. And of course, Mutt and Junkyard. I mean, Junkyard, fair enough, but Mutt, he's going to try and crack Storm Shadow around the back of the head with his nightstick. But I don't know. I've got a feeling Storm Shadow could probably take Mutt. I don't know. Mutt's pretty ruthless, but Junkyard, yeah, that's a different prospect. Junkyard's gangster, and of course Jinx is there as well, and Agent Jinx from her kind of like club kind of design iteration where they kind of utilized that. Was it the cancelled City Strike Scarlet kind of pieces, I want to say. Anyway, very, very cool. And again, beautiful artwork. I believe Atkins, again, all over this. You can kind of tell, can't you, sometimes? Plus, he's doing a lot of that kind of cover art stuff, and just really, really sweet. Yeah, well into this. lovely first Mission Storm, Midnight Storm expansion set for Mission Critical. I'm desperate to try and play these games. I cracked out the deck building game the other day, right? Was it Valor versus Venom? Why did I think that was the Collectors Club? I guess it's because Collectors Club did that version of it. Is that right? Yeah, I think that's where my head's getting mixed up. People are saying it's a Sigma 6 design. It's everything, isn't it? It's like Jinx, every design for Jinx ever. Let me just double check on Jinx just to get my stuff right on this one, because in my head it was it was, yeah, it's the, let me have a look. Yeah, it's definitely the Valor versus Venom design that then the club take on, and the club did that version in the modern era. That's where I was getting confused. But yeah, it's 2004 Agent Jinx is where the original style was kind of utilized. It might even have been, like someone said there, with Sigma 6 might have done a similar kind of version as well. But yeah, that Jinx has the blindfold and everything as well. So yeah, that was the original, and then the Collectors Club did their version of it. So yeah, cool. They also used that Jinx in the last video game, says Jason. Awesome. Okay, enough of that. Basically, a cool Jinx design, in it. Oh, Sigma 6 used the Valor versus Venom as a basis. Nice. So you can see this the whole gamut: Sigma 6, Valor versus Venom, and the Collectors Club version. Awesome. Awesome. There you go then. Cool. That's a very. In fact, the thing is, the more I look at that Jinx design, though, the more I'm seeing it being very, very close to the Valor versus Venom version, more so than the Collectors Club version, which obviously took some liberties, didn't it? So yeah, cool. Anyway, that's that, and that's that cleared up. We also had the Vanguard Strike expansion, which pits Firefly and Aleph. I love how Sarah said Alf initially, which was hilarious. I'm kind of looking at it going, where's Alf? And then I looked and thought, oh, she means Aleph. There we go. So we're getting a Night Creeper in this expansion, which is interesting. We didn't get it in the whole Ninja expansion, but we got Mutton Junkyard. We need a Ninja Force Mutton Junkyard, don't we? Yes, I think that needs to happen. So yeah, Firefly and Aleph from the Night Creepers are in this one, and Flint, Lady J, and Barbecue are the Joes trying to stop those two particular villains in this set as well. Again, more beautiful artwork, more awesome, fun expansion characters and additions to Mission Critical. Very, very excited for all of this. They also revealed Raise the Flag. Now, this is an interesting one. This is an expansion to the deck building game, right? It is they said they usually have like 2 story-based mission things usually. This is a 5-story expansion. So this is like big time. So they're really going like full force on this one. And on top of that, like, you know, like again, subject to approval on the artwork, but it's probably going to look like that, isn't it? Very nice kind of like interesting group of characters there as well. You've got Snake Eyes, Shipwreck, is that Duke, and it looks also like kind of classified inspired as well, doesn't it? Keel Hall. And I want to say, who's that on the left-hand side? I want to say maybe like female dial tone or something, possibly. I don't know. I could be wrong, and I can't think who that is. But I know there's obviously a very clear character that I'm just not like snapping into there. Let me know in the comments, please. But then anyway, in addition to this campaign expansion, they are including a cardboard flag that you can build. How awesome is that, with Sky Strikers? Now, what they said in the video was that they were messing around with scale versions of the Sky Strikers, and the one that's circled is the one they've gone for, so you can get lots of Sky Strikers on the deck of that flag. They said it's not the same size as the original, obviously. It's not like 7 feet long or whatever, but it is pretty large. It is dial tone, is it, Robert H? Thank you very much. I thought it was dial tone. So I'll go with female dial tone. There we go. Brilliant. Thank you for confirming on that. And just for those that are not sure what I'm talking about or just joined, I was talking about the female character all the way to the left. I said it might be dial tone, and I think it is actually dial tone. Cool. Thank you. So, yeah, so the flag, very cool. This is a concept prototype. Obviously, there will be deco and color and print all over it on the final version. So don't worry about that. And they're going to have a display version of it at Gen Con coming very soon. I don't remember, I did not catch the date of Gen Con, but it'll be pretty easy to find online. Yeah, so if you're going to that, check that out. Take some pictures and show them to us so that we can see how awesome it is. Viper Scout says I can finally get a flag. I like that. Yeah, I think we all can now. RKW says, how large is pretty large? I have a very big imagination. They didn't go into dimension details, unfortunately, in the video. They talked about it being really large, but they said it's not obviously nowhere near the size of the previous. Plus, you're talking about like an expansion box. So this thing has to be kind of like flat packed IKEA style. And I would imagine it's probably fairly big, but I can't imagine it being like, stupid big. I can imagine it being big for like, a gaming table or something, or, like a centerpiece for a gaming table, maybe. We'll see. We will see. And I'm sure we'll get dimensions close to the time as well. But I think that's really fun. And if you get into the pre-order for Raise the Flag, if you get into the pre-order for this, then not only do you get the flag that comes with it, but you also get more Sky Strikers. So it will come with 2 Sky Strikers for the standard retail version. But if you get in on the pre-order, they throw in more. I think maybe 2 or 3 more. Again, I'm not sure if they said, but there will be more Sky Strikers to kind of populate your flag if you want to do that. And you can jump on the old on the pre-order for it, which again, link in the description. You can get into all of these are up for pre-order, by the way. The Mission Critical expansions, the Raise the Flag deck building game expansion, and of course more stuff to come as we get to the end of this segment. Yeah, Matthew, I would love a Jada Toys mini flag. That would be so much fun. And then a Sky Striker as well to go on it would be sweet. And they've actually, they showed off Sky Strikers, didn't they, ages ago during their kind of like reveal that they were doing this brand. They had lots of kind of like, many versions of things they wanted to do in the future, but that has just kind of like dissipated completely. Like we got that first set, and then it's been like, I want to say it's been like really quiet, hasn't it? I don't think we've had anything since then for the vehicles. But anyway, it's a shame really, because I think they'd have been great. And it was years ago. Yes, 100%. Anyway, that's that. And I'm very excited for Renegade Game Studios to be doing this. It's a great idea, and it's a fun way to kind of makes the game even more interesting when you're playing. It's also have a huge flag on there that you can kind of mess about with while you're actually playing the deck building game. So much fun. I love this stuff. It's great. Next up, then we had more role-playing game expansion things, and this is the Cobra Codex, which finally allows players to play as Cobra characters, and of course, Cobra, like other nefarious allies of theirs as well. So very excited again that they're expanding that early on, and people are getting the opportunity to do role-playing games with Cobra characters, because there's so many characters, so many Cobra fans out there, Cobra character fans out there, that it was surprising they didn't kind of not lead with it, but didn't like come out immediately with 2 different kind of books on that. Yes, the Hollywood Rides Hiss Tank, Matthew. Yes, also happy that that's finally kind of come out as well. And now we've got the Hiss Tank, the Stinger, and the Vamp, haven't we, for those, which is pretty dope. Again, I want to see more of that, though. I really want to see more of those. And I feel like they were so, like, not easy to make, but there were so many options for them to do that they could have churned out a bunch, and I think people would have eaten them up. I think distribution's been an absolute killer on that, though. Because I've gone into that, my targets and around this and stores around my way so many times looking for those things and never find them ever. And then other people are saying they've got like rows and rows of them, like they can't get rid of. It's weird. Anyway, coming back to the Cobra Codex, role-playing game expansion, and again, more cool artwork. And as you can see, classified-inspired designs. Regal Cobra Commander Destro and the Baroness there on a very cool snake throne. Again, cool artwork, but that is not necessarily final, as you can see from the approval watermark on there. Also, we got the role-playing game Miniature Villains Set 1. So obviously there's going to be more than one set here, which is great. And it's a 12-pack, and it features What have we got? We've got Cobra Commander, we've got Road Pig, we've got Storm Shadow, we've got Major Blood, Serpentor, Destro, we've got Tomax and Zaymot, we've got Zarana. I didn't know it was you. We've got Zartan, Firefly, and who else have we got that I can't see on here? Serpentor, Zaymot, Major Blood, Road Pig. Dr. Mindbender is the other one I missed out. And I think that's everyone. Yeah. And I think I said one that wasn't on there. Firefly's not on there. So yeah, that's awesome. Sorry, I had to lean in and read those. It's hard when they're all in grey models. But yeah, awesome again. And this set is up for pre-order as well. So you can jump in on that too. WJ wants to be a Dreadnought. Yeah, you could do that with the role-playing game now, because you can be Road Pig. You can be you can be any, for the role-playing game, you can be any character you want and be a Dreadnought as well, which is great. That's Robert H says Jada's too busy using their Hasbro partnership to make Rise of the Beasts cars to work on G.I. Joe. Yeah, they're focusing a lot on Transformers at the moment, aren't they? Fair enough. There's a movie out. I get it. But anyway, G.I. Joe role-playing game editions as well, which is awesome. And finally, this is cool. This is the wraparound artwork for the Field Guide to Action Adventure Sourcebook. Just off the top of my head, I didn't read that. So this is the wraparound art cover for that particular source book, and it obviously is showing you the crossover potential for G.I. Joe, Transformers, Power Rangers here specifically. You've got Bumblebee, you've got Devastator, you've got the Megazord there, and you've got the Hiss Tank as well. So you've got lots of stuff going on, and it's pretty cool. So this is effectively the adventure crossover source book. So it allows you to cross the streams, as it were. And again, really fun, cool artwork as well to go along with that. There you go. That's all the G.I. Joe related information that came out of Renegade Game Studios this week. Again, we just had their Con Virtual event. We had loads of reveals. We had the Sergeant Slaughter stuff. We had new expansions. We had like loads of stuff. And then I was not expecting this much extra from Renegade Game Studios for the Just Wait Special Edition. I just wasn't expecting it. So that was really awesome. Yeah, Robert H says, couldn't even tell there was Joe stuff in this picture the first time I saw it. It's kind of blurry in the bottom right-hand corner there, but the Hiss is there. Viper Scout says, either that Hiss is really small or Bumblebee is really big. Bumblebee, I know he does look massive, doesn't he, in that shot? Or maybe it's just, it's forced perspective in the wrong way, isn't it? It's like Bumblebee should be in front here and the Hiss Tank should be behind. But I think it's just, again, like a bit of action-packed fun, really. I don't think they're really going into the details of, sizing and all that kind of stuff and scale. Would have been funny if they only put one of the twins in the miniature set. Yes, it would actually, Roach. That would have been such a kick in the teeth, wouldn't it? Brilliant. Did she? Oh, and Duke is on there as well. Good shout, RKW. Duke is on the arm and he's shooting at Devastator. I did not notice that. That is exceptional vision right there. Love it. Love that. That's amazing. Love it. Yeah, Duke is there on the arm of either the Zord or it's on the... Oh, yeah, I think it's on the Zord. That's wicked. That's so wicked. WJ said, have you seen Jada's Street Fighter cars reveal? I have. 118 scale, so you can put it with your old G.I. Joe or other 118 Street Fighter figures. Yeah, I did see that. I hadn't even thought about that. But yeah, that's going to be a pretty nice little vehicles for 118 figures. Yeah, absolutely. Matthew says, just saw the images of the Jada Nano flag and Wave 2 and 3 of the Nano Joe vehicles. Don't know if they're real, but they looks cool. I don't think I've seen that. Maybe was it one of those ones where it was leaked? Because I don't think I've seen those. I've seen all the images from Toy Fair where they had all of their kind of like line plan, but I don't think I saw the Nano flag. I'm actually going to have I'm going to have a quick search just to see what you're describing. I can't see anything on there. So maybe it was one of those ones. Oh, is that it? No, that's not it. That's the 25th pack, 5 pack. Yeah, I don't think I've seen that. Like, I haven't seen it leaked. I haven't seen it kind of shared or anything like that. That's really interesting. If there is something like that, then I'd be, if it's coming at least, then that would be really, really cool. Funny enough, I put in Jada search, and one of our old news bursts come up pretty early, which is quite fun. And it was when they literally acquired the Joe license. That was the news burst. Wow. How long ago was that? It was years now, isn't it? Oh, Matthew sent me the image. Thank you, Matthew. Tap to see image. There we go. Interesting. Oh, okay. I've seen this on Facebook. I don't know if it's legit or not. I think this was one of those ones where they kind of mocked it up, as it were. Thank you, Matthew, for sending it to me. I'm going to show, obviously, I'll show it on camera, but you can't see it like super clear because I'm only on my little screen, and I don't want to switch, unfortunately, just yet because it wouldn't. It wouldn't be smooth, and I'm OCD about it. But you can see the flag down there. Kind of like, but again, I think it's a mock-up. Obviously, these aren't, because these were actually shown at Toy Fair. That was the Mobat Stinger Vamp and the Night Raven Sky Strike and Rattler. They were shown at Toy Fair, so those images are out there. But as for the flag, that looks great. I'd love if it was, but it says, it says down the bottom, conceptual art by Yo19 Kilo. So it's not actual product. It says it on the image, which is nice. So there we go, cleared up. It is just a mock-up done by an artist fan scenario. Cool. Okay. Well, thank you for Matt for pointing that out, though, because that's interesting to see, and it's nice to kind of see them like that. I'd be well up for a flag, honestly, with a Sky Striker and Dragonfly as well that are on there too. But we all know that all those vehicles were on the line plan, and I think those are the images used for the line plan as well. So yeah, go and check out our old news burst about it, because we've got the images from Toy Fair all up. Which weren't allowed to be shown, not by us, but they weren't showing them off to the public, but it was sneakily leaked by some public people, or some people that were there from the general public. So that's that. Next up, then, we've got more news to discuss. Have we not got loads more news to discuss? I've got to finish this within an hour. So let's see if I can do that. Next up, then, we have Super 7 news.
Yes, the Wave 1 Super 7 G.I. Joe Ultimates are finally getting delivered, with Waves 2 and 3 not too far behind. Super 7 posted an email update with new dates and proposed delivery estimations from the Super 7 web store perspective, and a number of online retailers already posted the figures in stock on their own websites. Wave 2 has completed production and is scheduled to leave the factory in early March and ship to customers in late April 2023, with Wave 3 scheduled to leave the factory at the end of May and ship to customers in the middle of July this year. In our last interview with Brian Flynn, he mentioned that as soon as the first wave was in hand, that they would be revealing Wave 4.
Once people get them in their hands, yeah, well, we're done. We're ready to go. We've been ready to go, but I can't do it till you get them.
Sure. Are we talking? What I mean is, are we talking Wave 1 in hand, or are we talking Wave 2 in hand?
Wave 1 in hand.
Wow. Okay. Get ready then, guys, because that's soon. Well, that's March.
That'll be March, April-ish.
So keep an eye on their socials for the next week or so for teasers or just full product drops. It is both exciting and a relief that the figures are finally on their way, and with the other waves close behind, I hope we can get back into a more natural rhythm of reveals and releases.
Yeah, that's what we all want, really, at the end of the day, is a bit more kind of, sanity when it comes to either nothing for months or everything at once. And it just seems to be that's the way of things at the moment, just unlike the kind of like the back end of the pandemic and all that kind of stuff. Like all of that like build up has just kind of come flooding in, and it's difficult as well because a lot of these companies they'll do pre-orders, but they'll do pre-orders where they take the money at the time of delivery or the time of shipping. And of course, that is not always the best plan for people that are budgeting this stuff and can't buy it all the time, but at the time can afford it. So it's one of those things where it's very difficult, isn't it, to kind of like, sorry, I'm just knocking figures over left, right, and center. It's very difficult to kind of get that balance right as a consumer, let alone a company. And yeah, it'll be nice to eventually, once these are out, that it becomes a thing of like reveal, wait for it. Reveal, pre-order, wait for it, get it. Reveal, pre-order, wait for it, get it. Rather than just like nothing, everything, nothing, everything. Anyway, Jeremy's asking why we're up early. Well, if that just tells me, Jeremy, you haven't been watching the news burst this week. I've been telling people at the end of the videos all week that we'll be doing this at 9 a.m. this particular Saturday, and only for this particular Saturday. Just because I've got to leave early today, and Pat couldn't be with us at all this weekend. So if you're just joining, if you're just wondering why we're so early, we started at 9. Apologies for any people that missed it. What else? Slade says, my Coco and Snake from Entertainment Earth have shipped. Brilliant. So you'll be getting them very soon. Very excited for that. That Doc and Scarlet looks so good, says Ryan. Absolutely. Let's just go through that news then one more time. So Wave 1, for Super 7 point of view, they're going to be shipping to their customers from Super 7's website for those that pre-ordered late March 2023. But obviously, Entertainment Earth, Big Bad Toy Store, all of your kind of online retailers, they all seem to have them in stock at the moment. So they'll be kind of, getting out there pretty soon, I'd imagine. I think I saw some people taking pictures of them from their local comic store. They had them in there. So yeah, lots and lots of cool products is going to be coming in very soon. So Wave 1, Cobra Commander, Battle Android Trooper, Duke, and Snake Eyes, with Timber, who's not pictured there, but they're coming in obviously right this kind of moment. So these are the freshies, and then also, so you can that means you can take this particular bit of information with the idea that I cut the end of the thing off, didn't I? So you can't see, but this particular piece of information means that's going to be late April, by the way. We can kind of take that as going to be a little bit earlier with all the online retailers. So Wave 2, Baroness, Destro, Flint, Lady J, they're leaving early March, aka they're probably leaving now, and they'll be getting in for Super 7 kind of late April in terms of delivery for Super 7. That means that you'll probably get them a little bit earlier on, and I would say like kind of early April, mid-April for all your online retailers. Now, people were saying to me, like, why is it that Entertainment Earth have got them and Super 7 haven't? And other people were saying, like earlier in the year, like, Hasbro Pulse, why aren't they getting, why are they getting retailers? Why are retailers getting them before they are getting them? Well, lots of retailers who are considered distributors, let's say, will order direct from the factory. They're not gonna have their stuff go to Super 7, then Super 7 distribute it, or go to Hasbro and then Hasbro distribute it. What often happens is the factories will send allotments of purchased and ordered stock, and they'll send them direct to online retailers, distributors, etc., right? Now, obviously, like that it's clearly that happens because EE, Big Bad Toy Store, all those companies, they always get them first, and they're always getting them out there for people, for the most part, earlier than usual. And then, you get like Hasbro Pulse start shipping them out, and then Super 7 website starts shipping them out. So that's what the situation is. Some distributors will get product direct from the factory, and it's whatever gets there first. That's why you see like, maybe Australia might have it first, or UK gets it first, or Europe gets it first, or whatever it may be. But it's just where the first lot of, direct from the factory orders are coming. You see, so that's effectively what happens there. And that's why with these, things from Super 7, they're saying, yes, early March and late April for Super 7, but you'll probably find that it will be late March or early April for EE, BBTS, etc. for Wave 2. Okay, so hope that makes sense. Then, of course, obviously, we've got Wave 3 to come. Doc, Scarlet, Storm Shadow, Cobra Soldier. They're scheduled to leave the factory end of May and ship to customers middle of July 2023. And again, you can take those dates and you can slightly shift them a little earlier for your online retailers and stuff. Okay. Anyway, yeah, so lots of awesome news really coming through now from Super 7. I know Brian is getting He's been beside himself wanting to get this product into people's hands. And I think obviously we're going to be getting Wave 1 sooner than all of them, but Wave 2 is very, very close behind. And then Wave 3 kind of like makes sense to be coming a little bit later, definitely. But yeah, very exciting. What are you guys most looking forward to out of all these Ultimates? For me, I've got to say I am loving, obviously, Flint. I really want to get that Flint. And also, I've got to say that the Wave 3 really blows my socks off with Storm Shadow and all of his like glow-in-the-dark Excalibur and the underwater mask and all those kind of fun homages. And Doc looks outstanding. He really does. So I'm really excited for those particular figures in general. What are you guys looking forward to out of Ultimates? I know Scarlet by far. Looking forward to Scarlet. Jeremy says, I may get Snake Eyes if I catch a sale. I just can't justify 50-ish. It's expensive. It is definitely $54.99 they are, aren't they? Neil Hill says, grabbed Bat, but still need Duke. Jeremy says, Flint alternate heads are great with the headset. Yes, absolutely. Love that. Ed Straight Edge says, version therapy, Ultimate Scarlet is the best version of Shana O'Hara we've ever gotten. I think when that figure comes out, I want to see it in hand. And if it is, then yeah, I think version therapy shoots her up there. We didn't even mention, because we're kind of, we kind of stick to the Hasbro releases through the eras, but then now we've got things like, other companies doing their versions of G.I. Joe. So you're right, we can kind of start maybe dropping in the occasional figure there for version therapy, definitely. I think having them in hand though is going to be that's going to be what makes our minds up on those. But yeah, Scarlet looks great. She really does. They all look fantastic. Lady J, Baroness in the blue as well. Destro looks dope. Duke, Battle Android Trooper. We know the Battle Android Trooper looks cool. Cobra Commander with the cape. And of course, we've also got, not mentioned in this list, one that's already there, and that's that comic Bat, which got out over SDCC. So I'm looking forward to this year's San Diego Comic-Con for sure. I know they're going to do another big G.I. Joe thing is what I can say. I can't say any more than that, but they're going to do another big G.I. Joe thing, and I think it's going to be very awesome, and I'm very excited for it. But yeah, very, very cool stuff. Thanks for letting me know in the comments as well what you are excited about. Are there any characters you want them to do in the Ultimates line that you're looking forward to? I think for me personally, I really want to see I'm sorry, I had this in my head the other day and I've completely forgotten now who it was. I really want to no, it wasn't that one. Who was it that I really wanted to see from Sunbow? I've completely drawn a blank. But it'll come to me, and then I'll be like, oh, it was that, obviously. I think it was I have completely drawn a blank as to who I wanted to see in the Sunbow era. Anyway, no, it's none of those. Sorry, this is somebody else saying these. This is cool. Let's see what you guys are predicting. Predictions is a good one. We'll do Prediction Slave in a second. Yes. RKW says Zartan. He's looking forward to Zartan. Looking forward to the Viper. Absolutely. Ed says, I bet money we see Snake Eyes version 2 in Wave 4 or Baroness version 2. Good shouts. There we go. Pythona was what I was trying to think of, and I completely drew a blank. Thank you. Yes, Pythona is the one I want to see in the Ultimates line. Thank you. And of course, CoverGirl, both versions. Yeah, they'll do it alternate heads, won't they? Definitely for CoverGirl. They'll just do alternate heads. Definitely. That's a good shout, Jeremy. Beachhead and Zartan. Well, Beachhead definitely is a good shout. Zartan is another good one. Yes. Right. Let's talk predictions for Wave 4 then. I think, and I've talked about this with the presenters, we all have kind of differing opinions. But I think you can definitely throw something in there like we've had the Bat in Wave 1 and we've had the Trooper in Wave 3. So I think Wave 4 they might avoid army builders for Wave 4. They did avoid it in Wave 2, so maybe they're going to do that as a pattern, right? I think CoverGirl would be a great shout, but I also think Baroness version 2 is more likely. So I think either CoverGirl or Baroness to fill one of the slots, right? Maybe both, who knows? But I think maybe, yeah, I'm just going to say both because that's easier. CoverGirl and Baroness version 2 for 2 of the slots. And then for the other 2, That's a good shout, actually, Viper Scout. But I was going to say one of those, and that is Bazooka and or Gung Ho. I think Gung Ho or Bazooka, and I've got both of them in front of me here, haven't I? Visual aids. Yeah, I think Gung Ho or Bazooka would be very good fodder for Ultimates. Also Shipwreck, but with Bazooka and Shipwreck coming out so close in the Classified series, I wonder if they might go somewhere else and they might do something like Alpine's a good shout as like another kind of character, a person of color, for example, and also another kind of like deep cut, but not deep cut, if you know what I mean. Obviously, Quick Kick would be kind of fun, but I think they're probably going to be something along the lines of, who else is left? Zartan, Firefly, Major Blood. Those three have got to kind of drop in. One of those three definitely in that wave. So I'm going to go with, and I don't know, by the way, I don't know what wave 4 holds, and that I imagine we'll find out next week or the week after, but we're going to find out soon. So expect a teaser from Super 7 at some point. But I'm going to say, with those characters named that I've just named, I'm going to go with Major Blood. Major Blood. I'll throw him in. No, actually, no. I think they'll go Zartan. Yeah, I think they're going to go Zartan. Let's say, because he's a big major character as well. Zartan and Baroness version 2, Cover Girl, and Alpine. That's what I'm going with. What do you think? Cool. Speaking of those 4, if I go with Cover Girl, I think they're going to have alternate heads. So I think they're going to have the 2 different heads, the blonde hair and it's like a brownie red head, isn't it? But it's like brownie red, I think, in the Sunbow cartoon. Or it might just be brown, or brunette. But she probably had every hair color under the sun, honestly, on the Sunbow series. So I think, Cover Girl's one that I would love to see. And then Baroness version 2 would be amazing. With Baroness version 2, I think you're going to get a lot of like comic homage. I imagine they'd do that kind of green face mask one that she had in Worlds Without End, when she rips off the mask, and maybe they might have that head, the one where she's like the doctor, or I can't remember what character she plays, but there's a general, and then there's like a kind of scientist doctor. And then Baroness rips the face off, and it's like this. She's still got her glasses and her mask underneath. She might actually put her glasses on afterwards. I can't remember if she does or not, but effectively it's brilliant. So it takes off, and she's got this other mask underneath. It's great. I think that would be something that I would expect for Baroness version 2. And then for Alpine, so much cool stuff you could throw in there. Again, like loads of equipment and gear and all sorts. And I'd have to go through the episodes again. Pyramid of Darkness, I'm sure they draw from Pyramid of Darkness a lot. Maybe doesn't he like fight? He's got like an oar that he fights a seal off with or something, doesn't he? I want to say it's like a tiger seal or something. It's like I can't remember what it was, but he fights it off with an oar, I think, and it breaks it. So something like that would be brilliant. There's loads of comments coming in for this. Sorry, I've missed loads. Fatal Fluffies, says Joe Barrett. Yep. In fact, loads of people are saying Fatal Fluffies in actual fact, which is great. Oh, Jeremy Kimberlin, like that. Televibe with interchangeable faceplate would be very Super 7. Yeah, that'd be cool with the different the different comments and words that go across the eyes. Yeah. Bazooka and Alpine, Viper Scout, 100%. Worlds Without End exclusive set would be great. Actually, RKW, just like a Worlds Without End, just all skeletons. No, but like if they had the Worlds Without End, like major characters like Grunt, Clutch, Steeler. Steeler would be great because you could do the alternate head with like the eyes and the the pink under the sweat and everything on him. Baroness in I was gonna say Baroness, but there is a Baroness in it, and there's a Baroness. She's kind of like in a nightie or like a dressing gown, but you could do Baroness as like when she's got her regular gear on in that one. But yeah, there's loads of awesome characters. Obviously the skeletons, but that would be dark, wouldn't it? That would be really dark. They often pull left field choices, Andrew. They do, Super 7, absolutely. Fatal Fluffies, absolutely, I love that. It's definitely reaction, I think, says Viper Scout as well. Yeah, I agree with that too. But I think a Fatal Fluffy would be cool to come with a character. So if you had like one of the Dreadnoks, maybe would come with it, or maybe Zartan would come with a little baby Fatal Fluffy. That would work. Maybe all of the Dreadnoks get a little Fatal Fluffy. That would be kind of fun. Dreadnoks is a good shout, isn't it? That's something that you could see them doing, like Ripper, or that's the thing. There's so many iconic Sunbow characters. Roadblock, you could do him as like an iconic Sunbow character in 2 different versions. Clutch, there's loads. Again, all of the Dreadnoks and Dr. Mindbender and Serpentor, and there's so many. Okay, yeah. Outfit was different, yeah, but I still think they're going to do alternate heads. I still think that would be it would be easier for them to do some changes, some simple changes, rather than to do 2 versions. I'm not sure if they could justify doing 2 versions of CoverGirl. I mean, they might be able to, and they might just do it. They've already done the blonde version of CoverGirl in reaction, haven't they? So who knows? Maybe. I would love to see the Baroness come with the conch of the sirens. Yes, the kind of yes, absolutely. That would be cool to have, definitely. Quinn is a good shout. Frozen Fudgy Bar could come with, yes. The Alpine could come. Well, Alpine Quick Kick and Bazooka could come with Frozen Fudgy Bars. Yes, Major Blood, good shout there, Luke Poulon. One that I would definitely say has got to be in the list of these. The Twins. I mean, the Twins are synonymous with the cartoon. Glow-in-the-dark skeletons, RKW. That's even crazier, but I'm in. Jamie, yes, sorry you are late. It's all good, though. Don't worry. You can watch it after the fact. Hector Ramirez for the win. Definitely, Jeremy. Yes. I like this shout as well from Viper Scout. Dreadnoks as cops. I don't think we'd see them in Ultimates, but we definitely might see those in reaction. But you never know. They could do like a buzzer and then later on down the line do like a cop buzzer and then reutilize that body. Maybe they could just bring 1 cop body out and 4 different heads and you just have to buy 4 of them. Would that be easier or more stressful, more painful? I don't know. That might be a right pain in the butt. But anyway, they might do that. They might just do a body with 4 heads and you just have to have one at a time. Hector Ramirez is a good shout though, Jeremy. I like that. Ed says, for CoverGirl, I'd only want the blonde version from Ultimates. Fair enough. And I think she is... she has that kind of very iconic scene where she saves the day with Timber and, drives the exploding canister out, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, I think that is probably more likely than the other version of CoverGirl, definitely. Mara melting synthoids, harsh. Female Cobra Troopers is a good shout, Ed, actually. Yeah, and of course, Worlds Without End too. Baroness is kind of female Cobra Trooper. I forget her name now. Damn, I love that episode. I've watched it so many times. I've heard her name so many times as well. Brain fart. Anyway, thank you for all the comments, guys. That's great. We have one more bit of news at the end of this for now. This is the last bit of news now, and that is finally some classified news.
Hong Kong-based retailer HOBBYBASE have posted the first in-hand image of the ever-elusive G.I. Joe Retro Classified Zartan figure. When both Snake Eyes and the Crimson Guard, who were supposed to be the last of the retro-carded figures, started showing up, it left a lot of us wondering where Storm Shadow and Zartan were. Considering the fact they were revealed in April of last year and went up for pre-order back in July, it was confusing to see the last of the retro figures leapfrog them completely. It is still unclear as to whether they will continue with the line in the future, as we are aware that Walmart will be getting a theme change this year for the Classified series, and with talk of the carded bubbles going away and then coming back in a confusing statement from last year, it's just not really known if we will see more of them going forward. That aside, it's good to see Zartan show up a few days after Storm Shadow had been posted on the same HOBBYBASE socials and completes what we know to be the line in its entirety for the time being, HasLab Cobra Commander notwithstanding. The figure itself has a new deco and has been stripped down in terms of the accessories that came with the other versions. It will come with the knife, knife, pistol, removable hood, neckerchief, backpack and classic face mask, as well as a figure stand. The Retro series has been a bit hit and miss with figures that just didn't need inclusion in the line, and some very cool updates to others. I love the brand new parts and accessories found in figures like Gung Ho, Lady J, Snake Eyes and the upcoming HasLab Cobra Commander, but the minimal changes on figures like Baroness and Destro just seemed a touch redundant. Even so, it's good to have some closure here, and I will look forward to getting the last two figures that we know of in the next few weeks.
Yeah, so Retro classified Zartan in hand. Now, this is an interesting one because obviously it was weird how Snake Eyes and Crimson Guard effectively just leapfrogged them. They were supposed to be the last two, completely leapfrogged Zartan and Storm Shadow. And then we were just kind of like, well, what happened to those figures? And they were on pre-order and everything and ordered and all that good stuff, product images, the lot. And then nothing, no sign of them. And it felt like Crimson Guard and Snake Eyes just kind of snuck out there and were like, yeah, we're out here, we're killing it. There you go, boom. And then it was like, okay. So we were in a position then of like, well, when are we going to see them? Storm Shadow popped out, thanks to HOBBYBASE, again, Hong Kong-based retailer. And I can also say that my Storm Shadow and Zartan and CoverGirl, Bat, Falcon, Outback and Barbecue are on their way as we speak. So very excited about those coming in. So there's going to be a lot of unboxings, isn't there? I'm going to have to do I can't do them individually. I'm going to have to do like a retro unboxing and then a 5-figure wave unboxing. That's going to be a lot, isn't it? Anyway, this is what makes unboxings hard now, isn't it? Because I'm going to be getting the wave of 5 figures, whereas before it was like, 2 or 3. You can deal with that. Or like the 1 deluxe every now and again, or like a 3-pack, or like a deluxe set. And now it's like, here's your 5 figures, get unboxing. Get on with it. Anyway, yeah. So Zartan, a few things to kind of point out. A few people had mentioned before that the original render had the kind of like the face paint, more like the cartoon, going all the way down to the bottom of almost like past the mouth, and effectively what you see there but upside down, which I wonder if they just put the mask on the wrong way around at the factory. But anyway, it could be the case because obviously in the render they did that, and people were like going nuts about it, like, oh, that's cool, that's interesting, and that makes it different enough for us to want to pick it up. But as it stands, they've kind of got the same kind of eye makeup going on, I believe, as the other 2 versions. So that's the only. But again, I say that it's not a surprise now because obviously we've got product images after the fact that showed that the eye makeup was a certain way, it was this way. So it's not like it was only at the render stage that it was technically incorrect. And they do say subject to change at that stage. So they even say it on the product shots. So yeah, unfortunate, but there you go. The deco is significant enough, I guess. He looks around at any Zartans, but they're all over there. Is significant enough, I guess, to warrant a retro card. But I don't know. I keep finding myself like being a little bit torn on, a little bit kind of like just not as enthused as I am with some of the other reveals. When they I was still excited about the Crimson Guard and Snake Eyes, but mainly because of the differences, like, the red backpack for the Crimson Guard, for example, the silver faceplate, the different red. I mean, can you get excited about that? Some people can. I got excited for the backpack, but and it's a beautiful figure. I'll have that in any way, shape, or form it comes. Like the Python Patrol, can't wait. This, love it. The original, love it. So I'm for that Crimson Guard in any flavor, please and thank you. The thing I would say though, like with Snake Eyes, obviously a lot of differences there. It's a different figure. You've got like a lot of Stalker parts, obviously, but it's a different thing altogether. It's a different kettle of fish, and it is very different to Alpha Commando Snake Eyes. Even the head sculpts, even though like on first glance look the same, are significantly different. But that said, it's hard for me to find excitement about that for some reason. And like again with Storm Shadow and Zartan, I'm like, yeah, okay, we're going to get Storm Shadow without the kind of gauntlets. We're going to get with wraps instead. We're going to get Storm Shadow without the gloves. We're going to get him with I get a slightly different deco on the wraps, and that's pretty much it. So it's like, okay, but then we're getting the Zartan, which is effectively just a deco change, and they've removed some of the things that make Zartan very cool as the Master of Disguise Deluxe, as even as the standard release, which had like the monkey paw and the snake head and all that kind of fun stuff, and a few other bits and pieces. You know, I kind of feel like with the retro one, we're just getting a deco change and we're getting things taken away from it. And again, like, I'll still get this, but in terms of enthusiasm, I'm not really there yet. I'll probably be there when I open it and go, oh yeah, I'm glad I've got this, because let's look at the comparisons and we'll see it. That might be different. But at this moment in time, it's just like, okay, get it to me, cross off the checklist, move on. And then, you know, next up is going to be Cobra Commander with the HasLab. Who's excited for that? I am, basically. Robert H says, Zartan, who could have predicted it was you? I like that. I've kind of redone a Thrasher quote, but with all the words different. B says he almost likes this deco more than the Pulse exclusive. And of course, I know people are going to like that deco more. I think I do like that deco. I've got to admit, I think it's very nice. Joe wants them so bad. He wants Zartan and Storm Shadow. Didn't get a chance to pre-order them. Don't worry, you'll get these, Joe. The pre-orders don't mean anything at the moment. They're creating so many of the figures. I don't think we'll ever have problems again getting a certain figure. I don't think you're going to have. I mean, you might have problems trying to go back and getting a deluxe figure that's like more money now on the secondary market, but you're not going to find figures that are released now that are going to be difficult to get. It just doesn't happen anymore. So yeah, you'll be all right. Viper Scout says that Baroness would have been a much bigger hit if they hadn't released her with the bike, the coil cycle one, right? Again, like, I don't know, I'm not that fussed. Like, I really like that figure. I think she's amazing. I see what you're saying. Like, a lot of people didn't want it because they didn't want the bike. I get what you're saying. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe if you're saying that the retro one would have been a bigger hit if the bike one hadn't been released, then you're probably very right. But they were always going to do a Baroness, weren't they? They were always going to do a Baroness in the classified series at that stage. Hello, S. Myers. Jeremy says, I'm a bit iffy on the Zartan as I have Wave 4 and Master of Disguise already. I think a lot of people do. Just imagine Zartan going behind Joe lines in full uniform, but with that mask and the Joes let him pass. I know. It's like, oh, he's a real Master of Disguise wearing the same clothes with the hood over it and everything. Yeah, it's hilarious. I do love that, though. This guy looks trustworthy, says Andrew Clark. Yeah, big time. Yes, you do have all of those in Canada, Luke. I know you've had them for ages. I'm just happy I'm getting them soon. Can't help myself. Still getting this one, of course. Blue armor instead of all black or black and silver. Yeah, the blue armor's nice. I've got to admit, it's a nice look, definitely. But again, like, it's kind of a preference thing, isn't it? Again, I'm still getting him. And will I be enthused when I get him? Probably more so, yes. Okay. Bees Battle says, I'm waiting for the tattoo Storm Shadow from the original classified artwork. You're going to be waiting a long time, B, I think. I'm not sure they'll ever revisit that. They might do in some sort of like throwback anniversary type thing, like, you know, like the 5-year anniversary of classified or something, which is only like 2 years away. We're more than halfway to a 5th year anniversary. That's crazy. Damn, son. Okay, way more than halfway. Movie Baroness is a good figure as well, actually, Robert H. Yeah, I liked all the movie figures. Shit, it's crazy. The Cobra Commander is going to be awesome. Can't wait to get him with the hiss. Absolutely. Right then, that is, I think, did I have any more? No, shout outs next. See, I haven't got Pat to say, Pat, what's next on the agenda? Because I can't remember. Yes, right. So that is it for the news, guys. Thank you so much for joining me for the most part on this one. We're going to do shout outs next, and then we'll bring it to a close, of course. But first up, Hoarder.
Have you tried Hoarder yet? No? Well, you need to. If you have a collection of things and want to create a fun and easy way of organising it and of course showing it off, then get involved. You can post items and build collections, and you can drop a status like getting a fun delivery or seeing some awesome related stuff on your travels. Build your collections with Hoarder. The app is free to download on Google Play and the App Store, so what are you waiting for? Get to hoarding.
All right then, shout outs. And this one is going to be pretty quick because I do have to leave very soon. But shout out to Pat and Phil, obviously from talking points, from articulated points. It's because I'm always looking at the logo when I say that. That's why. Yes, so Pat obviously couldn't join me today. He's off gallivanting. He's sorting GI Joes, having fun with his mates. Who I didn't allow this. Like, he's going to be docked wages for this one. I'm just kidding. So hopefully we can obviously reconvene next week together. And of course, to shout out to Phil as well. For those that have obviously just joined, I'm really sorry, but obviously I've been saying all week on the news burst that we'll be doing this at 9 a.m. So that's a good motivation for you to watch the news bursts in the week. And also gets our numbers up, which is, that's what we want. We want to be big time, guys. Just kidding. So shout out to both Pat and Phil from Articulate Points. Of course, Pat, my missing comrade on today's weekly. Like I said, hopefully we'll be back to normal next week, and we'll see. Well, actually, next week, what is it? 4th today. So in 4 days, what day does the 8th fall on? I haven't even thought about this, but it's only in 4 days, isn't it? I'm one of those people that can't work it out in my head. So it's Wednesday, isn't it? Yeah, so on next week's weekly, we're going to be talking about the reveals and everything from pre-orders and everything from March 8th live stream. Very excited for that. Thank you, Bees Battlegrounds on Wednesday. Thank you. We're going to be doing also on Wednesday, I should say, in the week. We're going to be going live shortly afterwards. I might be on my own. I'm to do that initially, and then obviously I'll have more people on to discuss the stuff on the weekly. So the initial reactions might just be me, but I'm going to go shortly after the event, hopefully to try and squeeze that out. And on Wednesday, that should be fun. Very excited for that. So next up, shout out to the fam. Kate, I'm going to be picking my lovely wife up from the airport in a few hours' time. Me and Phoebes are going to go and do that, aren't we, darling? Yeah, she's Sparko over there. She's completely out of it. So we're going to go do that. And also, massive shout out to Kent, my father-in-law, who has gone through the most incredible surgery ever. He had back surgery through his front, and it was pretty intense, really crazy surgery. They did it in 1 day, and he was up walking the same day. And he was out of hospital the next day. So he's recuperating at home now. So shout out to Kent for that, and shout out to the rest of the fam, of course, in the US, looking after him and everything, keeping him up. Obviously, Kate went out to visit them while that was happening. And it was all successful. So brilliant stuff. Very, very happy that was the case. So big shout out to them, and also to mom and dad and the rest of the family in the UK as well. Love you guys very much. It's going to be Dad's birthday very soon, so I'll have to do a special shout out for Dad later. And it's Mother's Day soon in the United Kingdom. Don't worry, Americans. It's UK Mother's Day. They're 2 different days, so don't worry too much. So I'll be shouting them out, obviously, probably more specifically on the close to time. Shout out to Brian Sauer for our amazing graphics. Brian came through big time on this particular graphic you're looking at now. Thank you very much for doing that for me last minute, Brian, because obviously Pat couldn't join us. And also for all of the monthly graphics, they were superb. And we've check out the monthly. It's great. Pat, Justin, and I did a O-ring special again, where we talked about what we wanted to see in the future, and also some of our a little talk about the state of the O-ring line as well. But we also did the usual stuff too, like all of the version therapy. We did a version therapy on Scarlet, where we talk about our favorite versions of Scarlet. There you go. Go check it out. And also a monthly extra, which is a new thing we're doing, where a little bit of extra content that comes out of the monthly goes into a separate kind of side episode that we get later on in the month. it was a bit late this month. It kind of actually came out in March and it should have come out in February. So we'll be working on that next week as well to try and squeeze out the monthly a little bit earlier in the month this time around. Anyway, thank you for that, Brian. Also, massive shout out to Paddy and Brian, who fully funded successfully and beyond their softcover Action Force The Battle Years, Total Action Force The Battle Years softcover Kickstarter campaign. They reached a 23k euros, that is, stretch goal, which was unlocking all the Series 3 vehicles and a little bit of kind of more dio shots for extra content. They didn't get to the last stretch goal that they had, which was the 27k, but they did hit just over 24k euros, which was like 26 something dollars, which was brilliant. $26,000, $26. So congratulations to them on doing an absolute mission and a half. Last weekly, I reported that it was like 46 hours to go or something. So yeah, very awesome. RKW says, sounds wrong squeezing out the monthly. Yes, it does, doesn't it? I take that back. That's horrible. Thank you, everyone, for the nice comments as well about the fam, and for Kent as well. He's doing well. He's doing really well. Very excited for that. Anyway, and that's it for this long episode somehow of the Full Force Weekly with just me, Diagnostik80, for today, guys. Like I said, next week we'll be back with Pat, but also in the week we've got the March 8th live stream to do a reaction on. There'll be more news, I imagine. I've got a feeling Super 7 are going to reveal Wave 4, or going to do a teaser for it for the Ultimates, just because you've got that whole G.I. Joe swell this week that's going to be going on. They need to ride that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that's one of the things, isn't it? They all kind of like, we'll see merch this week. We'll see it all. You watch. And of course, maybe the comic news, the publishing news, I imagine too. Lots and lots and lots of stuff to get stuck into. Very excited for this coming week. Like I said, and also with name reveals that they're going to do, they always do name reveals. You know, there's going to be some deep dive videos to come as well. Okay, that's me. It's going to be a busy couple of weeks, isn't it? I will see you guys on the next one. You know what to do at the end of all these episodes. Thank you so much for all the comments, all of the interaction, everything. We really appreciate it. If you missed us for this one, then just go back and watch it when it's finished. It was still entertaining. I don't know. It's up to you guys to decide that. I'm off after 3. 1, 2, 3. Full force, and stay fresh, cheese bags.
Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos, and as always you can keep up with the show after listening by following on Twitter @TheFullForce, liking the Facebook page facebook.com/TheFullForce, and if you would like to contact the show you can message us on either of those platforms with feedback and questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/TheFullForce podcast, or click on the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force.